Hello, puppies and kittens. PhilosoShy, another YouTuber, has asked me to have a conversation about how things have changed over the course of our lifetime. Specifically, how America has changed, how our culture has changed, our politics have changed. I don't know, maybe our morality has changed, maybe music. I'm not sure what all he wants to bring up here, but PhilosoShy, fill me in on your endeavor.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us here. Pardon if we stare off to the side and stuff. Our mic, or sorry, our camera's kind of high up. But yeah, no. So it figure, we've been on your channel a few times already here, and last time we kind of broached into the political aspect a little bit with things, and we.
Gosh, I wonder why.
Yeah, we're about to say, with the current times being what they are, we feel like it's probably an advantageous subject for everybody involved to talk a little bit more about it. And one of the things that we struggle a lot with is a lot of the conservatives, especially, are always talking about how times used to be and how it was better back then, and so on and so forth. This classic conservative ideal. Well, you've actually been around. You're 62, 61?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
that.
thanks
Well,
for reminding everybody.
If it's any consolation, you don't look a day over 48. So, sorry. Yeah. So you've seen several administrations go by. You were what, 12 when Nixon left? Was it?
Well, when I was born, Kennedy was president.
Oh, geez, yeah, wow. No, that's so
Yeah.
you've seen some things going on, and as a communicator, science and history and that kind of stuff, one of our big things is get the people who were there, find perspective, and so you were there. We'd like to know kind of what your experiences were. So we suppose our first question here was, do you remember anything about Lyndon B. Johnson? and the world at his time, because that's a little early,
No.
Okay. So
I became aware of the presidency and all like that during Nixon.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
So one of the things that impressed me about your notion about how things have changed is the things that, well, how different the Republicans and the Democrats are from where they were when I was a kid. And the things that conservatives would say, not just Republicans would say or do, but the things that conservatives would say or do when I was a kid. One of the furthest left presidents in my lifetime, you'd be surprised. I mean, I thought that when I study JFK and Jimmy Carter, looking back in the history, I would have thought that historians would have remembered both of those people as being on the left. And in fact, there has not been a single leftist president in the entirety of my life. No, Biden is not a radical leftist. He's not a leftist in any sense. Obama was not a Muslim socialist. He wasn't any of that.
He had quite a lot of corporate attachments, actually.
Every president in my lifetime has been on the authoritarian right. But of those right-wing presidents, every single one of them, one of the most left was a Republican. Richard Nixon.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Richard Nixon
tell us more about that.
Richard Nixon backed a number of programs that today would be associated with socialism.
Well, or he made the EPA too, also.
Exactly. So, but there was a handful of programs that today would only be endorsed by leftists.
Okay.
One second. Talk in my absence, because I just realized I open.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because Richard Nixon is back then. It feels like there was a lot more bipartisanship going on in any given administration's thing, just because you kind of had to feel that. So Richard Nixon, he made the EPA. He removed us from the gold standard, as we recall. That would kind of be considered a bit of a leftist ideal in this day and age, because we've got all the conservatives that we know talking about, we need to go back to the gold standard or whatever.
Okay. And then Reagan did some stuff that was surprisingly what they would call left today.
Yeah.
You know, he was all about banning assault rifles.
Well, and as the Democratic governor of California, didn't he? Wasn't
1967?
he
Yes, he did.
Yeah, wasn't he the first guy to be like, no fault divorce? It's just a thing. Like we can just have that, and that conservatives this day and age be like, no, that's horrible.
And another thing that I'd like to bring up, the difference between where we were as a country in my youth and where we are now. Importantly, throughout the 80s, I mean, I had a shit ton of friends from different walks of life or whatever. Yeah. And the most I might know about them politically is maybe whether they were religious. And kind of that's it.
It wasn't as much as important of a talking point back then, we guess.
Well, the reason is because what Republican now is not what was Republican then. And right. Same with the Democrats. When I was a kid, Democrats were MAGA of today. Today's MAGA are yesterday's Dems. Not even
the Southern strategy or the switch.
Exactly.
Hadn't happened quite yet. Okay.
There was a time like Ted Cruz made the comment that the Democratic Party was the party of the Ku Klux Klan. And 100 years ago,
that is indeed the Ku Klux Klan that was established by Democratic President Woodrow Wilson, probably the worst president we've ever had, as in Trump is literally only a symptom of Woodrow Wilson's presidency. Yeah. But that's not how it is anymore.
So if I were an adult in the year that I was born, 1962, curiously, I was born in 62 and I am 62. Twilight Zone music. Anyway, if I was an adult at that time, I would have been, in 1962, I would have been a proud Republican then.
The party of Abraham Lincoln, of freedom and American justice.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln, the most non-Christian president we've ever had.
Well, we can see if we can change that. We're going for first atheist president, so big laugh, we know.
Yeah, so, I mean, Abraham Lincoln, I don't think he ever embraced Christianity. He did say explicitly a number of times that Christianity was not his religion. He was not a Christian. Should not be confused with Christians.
Well, and he had a lot of established social maxims that we think kind of preclude a claim of Christianity. He believed that the assertion of an idea or a statement without evidence thereof was a lie. So why would he ever claim that a God existed? He doesn't have evidence for that. So.
My favorite Lincoln quote, and there's a lot of terrible Lincoln quotes. I mean, Lincoln said a lot of shit that was just awful.
People back then were not saints.
But there was one thing he said that I really adore, that I quote all the time. I believe it is an established maxim in morals that he who makes an assertion without knowing whether it is true or false is guilty of falsehood, and the accidental truth of the assertion does not justify or excuse him.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
fucking motto, right?
Yeah.
That was the position that I held as a child when they dragged me into church. And this guy is making these claims. Like we found footprints in the Paluxy River in Texas, dating back to 6,000 years, and they're walking with the dinosaurs, proving that those are Adam's footprints.
No.
My 11-year-old self sitting in that congregation, I did not know that it wasn't dated to 6,000 years ago. He limits everything to 6,000 years because he's a young Earth creationist. And they were not walking with dinosaurs. There were no human footprints in the Paluxy riverbed. All of those were misunderstood or misread dinosaur tracks. I've been to the Paluxy. I've excavated those tracks. I know firsthand, up close, with my fingers in the track. I know what they're talking about now. But my 11-year-old self didn't. But when the preacher said, proving that those were Adam's footprints, I remember telling my grandmother, "Grandma, he's lying."
Is that when she slapped you?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
When I was a
That's
kid,
really fucked up.
she actually punched me in the stomach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
That's
when
somehow
I was a
not better.
kid, if you told a lie, one lie, if we could prove that you said a thing and you knew that thing wasn't true, you're out. You've lost everything.
Yeah, your credibility's ruined.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, there was this concept that you're only as good as your word, right? Like that's what we try to live that way. You know, like we're poor as hell. We live in a little cottage out in the middle of rural fucking coastal Oregon or whatever. We only got our word. We got nothing more. We got a dog, but you
You're
can't
Florida,
have that.
Man?
Oregon.
Okay. Did you say Oregon? I thought you said
yeah.
Florida.
We said Oregon. Sorry if it sounded weird there, but yeah, no, coastal Oregon. Yeah.
It couldn't have been rural Florida because you don't sound insane.
Well, there are some people in Florida that aren't insane. They want to get out, but they are still there.
One of the other things that's changed in the U.S. since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Some of the things conservatives used to say. I was taught what made America great was the United States does not torture prisoners.
Right. Right.
Until
We're better
George
than that.
W. Bush, and we did.
And then we did, yeah.
America does not negotiate with terrorists until Reagan did. And what was the other thing? Did Americans have the ability? We have a freedom that they don't have in Soviet Russia. You know, we have the ability to go interstate. We can travel all over the place. We don't have to have any papers. We don't have to show our ID. All of that. We can just travel wherever we want to. We don't need permission or any of that. But there have been a handful of Republican legislators here in Texas trying to pass the Show Your Papers bill, where they want to be able to profile people and grab them off the street. And if you don't have proof that you are legally allowed in this, if you don't have it on you, you're deported.
Isn't that a thing the Gestapo did?
Yeah.
Like so in real life, like actually.
Everything that the conservatives in the late 60s and early 70s were talking about, everything that the conservatives were backing is exactly opposite of what conservatives are backing now.
Yeah.
Back then, they used to talk about what Jesus said, that we needed to feed the hungry and house the poor.
No, that's just woke liberal nonsense.
We would stand behind what it says on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your tired, your poor, your hungry, your huddled masses yearning to be free. Right? This was the land of opportunity. This was come to America and be an American. And that was one of the things conservatives were proud of back then.
Yeah.
No more. They've done a complete reversal. Now, it used to be that, what was his name? There was this idiot that he was running for president, and it was found out that he was like screwing around with Jessica Hahn behind his wife's back. And I can't remember his name now, but it cost him the presidency because he infidelity. Really? There was a time when that mattered.
Yeah. But that doesn't matter now. We have Trump and all of his,
Yeah, now you get credit, I guess, on how many women you've had, assuming that they're of legal age.
Right, very, very relevant statements to right now.
Another thing different about the country from when I was a kid. When I was born, the marriage that I currently have was illegal.
Miscegnation laws?
The Loving versus Virginia, I think it was in 1967. It used to be illegal to have interracial marriages.
Yeah, miscegnation laws. Okay, yeah.
And I'm impressed at just how they determine whether somebody is interracial. Because
one drop. It's the one drop rule.
Exactly. So if there's any non-white in you at all, then you are all that non-white.
Well, that's why you know, we can call Obama half black, but we can't call him, we can call him black because he's half black, but we can't call him white because he's half black.
Similarly, there are people in my family who have a substantial, they're German, they're English, but they're also tiny bit Chinese and half
Right.
Vietnamese. And so if they're half European and half Asian, they're
They're
100%
all
Asian.
Asian. Yeah, they're just Asian. We're ever thinking to ourselves, like, you know, we know that there's that whole thing that everybody has like a little bit of Mongolian in them or whatever. But fun fact, our grandfather has like considerably more Mongolian in him than like others. Are we then Mongolian?
I know that if my grandfather was Navajo, I would be Navajo. It doesn't matter that
Right.
it's just the one relative. It doesn't matter that it's a maximum of 1/4. It's the not white. It's the one drop rule.
Which of course leads to some ridiculous actual legal cases that happened at one point. There was a man who had a black wife, and that wasn't allowed unless he was black. Oh, geez, our audio stinks. That's not good. How can we assist that? Can we move something back here? Let's turn the volume down just a touch. Somebody's saying our audio stinks.
No, sorry.
Okay. Sounds fine. Oh, well, somebody says, well, fine, awesome.
I don't see a comment that says that it's bad. I hear somebody says it's not that bad, and somebody else says it sounds fine.
Okay, great, awesome.
So I guess we're good.
All right, awesome, thank you. Yeah, there was a case where
There was
a
a time
man.
when I was a kid that the more money you had, the more taxes you paid.
Oh man, that's unheard of in this day and in this economy.
Yeah, so Warren Buffett said that he pays less taxes than one of his secretaries. I mean,
Yeah.
Trump paid $750.
Well, we're reminded of how some companies get like reverse taxes. They get money from the government as opposed to having to pay taxes.
Yep. And it used to be that, you know, we were proud of the fact that every person gets a vote, but a company does not. It used to be that you had limits on how much money you could give to politicians because otherwise it would be deemed as corruption. Well, now
the richest man in the world can just buy the presidency.
Yeah, they can just buy the fucking presidency, and it doesn't matter. It's not considered corruption anymore. It's definitely corruption. Nobody admits to it any longer.
Right.
Yeah. So we don't have a moral requirement at all. Just lie your ass off, cheat at everything, steal everything, be convicted of all kinds of fraud. As a lifetime career criminal, you'll still win.
Yeah.
If you're running against
what does it mean, high crimes and misdemeanors, if, you know, several dozen felony fraud accounts won't lose you the capacity to be a president?
Yep.
It's good to know that our small little crimes of, you know, our tiny itty bitty little crimes that we've been, you know, pulled in unjustly for being like homeless and stuff like that. Good to know those won't matter for our presidential ride. Because obviously, you know, we can do all sorts of horrible, felonious nonsense, and that would do it. You know, we'd be just fine. So we got to say, we know nothing about Gerald Ford. You were around during Gerald Ford?
I remember that the only notable thing about Gerald Ford was that he tripped on the stairs for Air Force One.
Oh, so that's like the first Biden incident.
And there was one other time when he stumbled at something too. So he had the reputation of being a klutz. There were 2 times, and so his whole image was that of a klutz. He's you know, he's a maladroit. He stumbles and falls.
Yeah.
Trump and Biden have both left Gerald Ford way behind a long time ago.
Yeah, both of them have stumbled a lot more. Yeah.
But then Trump also left Nixon behind as a criminal president.
Oh yeah, no, he's, you know, Nixon at least said, "I am not a crook." Trump is like, "Yeah, so what if I'm a crook?" You know? So what are you going to do about
I'm
it?
a crime boss. What does it even matter anymore? I can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose a vote.
I hope, Trump, that you will be empathetic and merciful to those people who didn't vote for you. No, I hate her. I think she's horrible. I think it was a horrible speech. Just like, come on, man. Really? But,
One of the differences, why in the 80s we didn't know if the people we're partying with, if they're Democrat or Republican or whatever, that it didn't matter. It was because there wasn't a lot of difference between them.
yeah.
So in the early 60s, all the races, the Ku Klux Klan, the Nazis, everybody, those were Democrats.
Yeah.
And at least all of the Klan, just absolutely all of them. And then they started swapping platforms in the 1960s, so that by 70, but it started in like 62, by 73 or whatever, they've completely switched.
Yeah.
But they're still close together. They're that crossing point.
A lot of dancing across
2001,
the aisle. Yeah.
I remember in 2001, I read the political platforms, the national political platform for the Republican and the national political platform for Democrats. The Republican platform was slightly more religious.
Yeah.
That was the difference.
Yeah.
Now
it's
20 some odd years on,
different. Yeah.
that rift has gone so far astray.
Yeah.
You know, when and it's worse when you read like the Texas specific one, because if you read the national political platform,
yeah,
they're more
put the mask on. You know?
Yeah, exactly. They're more sanitized. They're more. Yeah, people will be watching. There may be cameras.
Yeah,
but in
Texas nobody cares.
The Texas specific one is, I'm just in my living room. I'm going to say what the fuck I want. That's the platform you get, and that was the one that in 2012 said we're against critical thinking.
Yeah,
and while
we made a video about that.
And while they tried to back away from that, there's language in the political platform now, or at least the last time that I read it a year or two ago, still just as bad. We want to teach evolution and climate change as questionable theories. And by theory, they mean hypotheses.
Mean something,
unsupported guesses.
Something that isn't supported by literal mountains of evidence and all the statistical data and the entire.
Yeah, they don't put They don't put evolutionary theory with atomic theory, right? Or with the theory of chemical periodicity. No. They're
about to throw germ theory out. So like maybe those are next. Maybe before you know it, they'll start being like, no, atoms. I ain't never seen an atom. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't remember politically people associating their religion to their politics quite so vehemently.
Yeah.
On either side. You know, because it was, like I said, it was a crossing point. So they were all pretty much the same. You know,
we're all Americans here.
Yeah, in the late 70s, the fuck was the difference?
Yeah, honestly, we were actually. Sorry to cut you off.
There was a time when I first registered to vote. I remember somebody asking me, "Are you a Republican or a Democrat?" And I honestly didn't know. I said, "I don't know."
Voted for whatever seems good at the time, right?
You know, yeah, and this woman did not like me at all. She did not like me at all. So she just glared at me and said, "You're a Democrat." And I said, "How do you know?" And she goes, "Trust me."
Oh, it's funny. we're reminded of some of the articles, like the political articles we've written on Patreon in years past, and you know, a lot of our articles are public, and you'd be amazed at how many times we write an article, and in the same day, in the same like moment, there are people being all like, "Oh, you're just a dirty Nazi fascist, yada yada yada," and then literally right beneath that comment, "You're a dirty communist, Marxist, leftist, woke bastard, yada." And we're like, so is that good? Does that mean we're actually running the centrist game?
I think it's funny that I honestly didn't know, because what I knew about Democrats was what I had seen from, like, Bob Hope used to comment about Democrats, but the Democrats of Bob Hope's day were Republican of MAGA time.
Yeah, yeah,
Same
yeah.
people.
That's what you were saying earlier.
So he was telling jokes about Democrats as being MAGA.
Yeah.
And I remember my family were Democrat at the time because Democrats were the MAGA people back at that time. They were always talking about the good old days. They were always talking about ain't nothing as good as it used to be.
Just like they're doing now. It's always that way.
And like, I got so sick of whining about how shit's different, which means bad. Right. So there was what's his name? There was a country music singer, and I can't remember his name right now, but he says one of his songs, I wish a Ford and a Chevy would still last 10 years like they should. Before microwave ovens, when a girl could still cook and still would. We're rolling downhill like a snowball headed for hell. No chance in the world for the flag or the Liberty Bell. Well, you whiny fucking bitch. The fuck's wrong with you?
That's
you're,
a very
you're
cringy
afraid of the future. You don't want progress. You don't want things to get better. You want it to be the way Grandpappy knew it. And if it's any different than the way it was when you was a boy, then it's bad. My grandfather told me in 71. My grandfather told me they've already invented everything they ain't going to invent. In 71, we've invented nothing since 1971.
No, sir. Well, we're reminded. So, thing that we try to bring up every now and then, but it doesn't get brought up much. We grew up doing living history. We actually grew up doing medieval reenactment, like living the way medieval people did back in the day. That kind of
SCA, AmpGuard, or both?
SCA was the big one. We did our first big event. We did On Tier West for 1995.
I don't understand people that do SCA.
It's considerably different than it is now. Yeah. So and along with that, we went out to real historical reenactment events that were not SCA, that SCA adjacent but not SCA direct. So we would go out and we would learn how to hunt in the way that they did in the Middle Ages. We would learn how to make food in the way that they did with Middle Ages, over a fire and stuff like that. We would learn how to we didn't personally learn how to weave cloth. We learned how to make armor and stuff, but we would learn the general. And we got to tell you, from personal experience, even with the benefit of duct tape and modern amenities, the past was the worst, man. You don't want to go back there.
Yeah, I wasn't. I did SCA for 10 years. Society for Creative Anachronisms. It's a bunch of nerds dress up in medieval garb and then they go camping.
Yeah.
And you wear real armor that you make yourself.
Beat the shit out of each
other. And I had a wicked set. My son has my helmet still, and I had all this reticulated armor, steel. And there's nothing more manly than when you're holding. You've got the pliers and the hammer, and you've got the plate over the anvil, and you're hammering it out to get the cop that you in the shape that you need. So I built my own armor.
Yep, same.
The pauldrons. I bought the elbow pieces and the knee cops, but I made the rest of the armor myself for the most part. Certainly the helmet. The helmet had horns on it, and you could break the horns off and just pop them back into their slot.
That's excellent. We actually, the helmet is one of the only parts of our armor that we didn't make. And we still have our helmet. We don't have any other part of our armor anymore, sadly. But
unfortunately, somebody borrowed mine, and I never saw them again. So
we got ours stolen at a convention. So
as you do. Same with my Frankish bearded axe. I had packed my truck. I'm leaving the event. There was 1,500 people at the event. No, I'm sorry. There were thousands. There were 3,000 at this event.
That's okay. Yeah.
I was at Estrella Wars. 3,000 people. I mean, what a party that was. 3,000. That was the list field.
Oh yeah.
3,000
just the people
on
fighting.
The list field. There were 5,000 in attendance.
Yeah, that doesn't even include the bardics, the arts and the sciences. I mean, obviously it started as fighting, but now it's every aspect of medieval life.
I want anybody listening for this nerd moment, just try to imagine what this feels like. You're in a suit of armor. You built it yourself. And there's all kinds of different fashions and everything. You're in your armor. You got your weapons, and you're with 900 people. 900 people. beside you and behind you and so forth. And there's an empty field of green grass. And this little guy comes out with a flag, throws a flag down, says, lay on, and he hauls ass out of there.
Yep.
As 2,100 shields and spears and helmets come running towards you. The noise, 3,000 people in armor charging into each other. And this may be the nerdiest thing ever, but it's also testosterone. I mean, damn.
Oh yeah.
So here you're launching yourself into that force, all those spears, everything, and you're launching in there with the intent of smacking helmets.
Oh yeah.
Right. And I fought for 8 hours that day. By the time when I walked back to my camp, I really thought I was going to die before I get to the
tired, yeah.
Because the armor by that point was so heavy. I mean, I've got so many armor bites, and I've been lifted up by spear points to the face that dropped me 4 or 5 feet back. You know,
the concussion is real.
but then the sun gets on the other side of the mountain, and then the drums start up. And the ladies with the little chain things are dancing around the fire while everybody's playing there.
And the people with all the homebrewed alcohol come out, and it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Somehow everybody's up until 2 or 3 in the morning, even though we fought all day. What the?
And then they do it all again the very next day.
Yeah. So that was how I spent my 20s.
Yeah. That's how we spent our childhood and our teens.
Nobody knew if you're a Democrat, Republican.
didn't matter. Didn't
Somehow
matter.
It never came up.
Yeah, never was a thing growing up. We never noticed any political stuff. You leave that shit in Mundania. So
somebody says, I remember getting a headshot from you in Amtgard.
Oh, what a souvenir. For sure, some people remember getting a couple of headshots from us, so that's good. So going back onto the thing, we kind of got off track.
Yeah, we did. How often do we get to talk to somebody about SCA? That just
so rare in this day. Yeah. So that kind of, you were talking about the cross and the interchange.
Then we went to your house to party and pour alcohol on our wounds. Okay, sorry, enough of that.
Yes. No, it's very good. We were talking earlier about that interchange, and that kind of lines up with what we'd heard. Back in the day, Reagan, Jimmy Carter era, it was a lot socially more acceptable for if you didn't get traction on your side of the aisle, you just hop over to the other side of the aisle and see if you can get traction there. And that wasn't stigmatized like it is now, right?
Yeah.
So
and then because of SCA.
Oh,
yeah. Because of SCA, I'm with all these people that we've got daggers, we have medieval clothing, right? We're going out to these campouts in the woods with hundreds of other people dressed this way, right?
Oh, yeah.
In the 80s.
An army rolling around through the woods, yeah.
And all of us, somehow, it seemed that all of us that were doing this were also listening to heavy metal.
Yeah, of course.
And we're riding Harleys.
As you do.
So
a bunch of rebels right here.
I've been accused of being satanic like practically my whole life.
Well, now at least now the accusations we believe aren't unfounded, right?
Yeah, after 40, 50 years, I was like, fine, fuck it, I'll wear it.
Oh man.
So that was what would they call it, the satanic panic.
Yeah, which is, of course, unfortunately, now we're going through a second satanic panic. When we were growing up doing D&D, our grandma was all like, "Oh, Dungeons and Dragons is really bad," and nobody thought anything about it. Now we're actually seeing, crazy fundamentalists and conservatives and stuff talking about how Dungeons and Dragons is bad because it's satanic and shit. We're like,
and again,
really? We thought this was like our mom's stuff.
Again, the SCA thing. So you played Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah.
But at some point, we just ran out of imagination and needed to put on armor and do this shit for real.
Started beating each other. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what's screwed up? What's screwed up is that, like, you can do martial arts. You can do boxing and all that stuff. And nobody bats an eye. Everybody's like, oh, it's totally cool and everything. But if you get in medieval armor and start hitting each other with sticks, that's childish and unrealistic and satanic.
We went to this event where we loaded all of our armor, or we loaded all of our weapons and our camping gear and all of our supplies, our ice chests and all of like that. We all loaded all that into a Chevy Suburban, a single Chevy Suburban. Everybody loaded all their stuff into one truck. And then we all rode to the event on motorcycles.
Yeah.
In Arizona, wearing all of our armor, because there was no more appropriate point to wear. So there's 8 or 9 of us, I think. It was at least 6, all riding together.
The cavalry engineers. Must be using old Roman techniques.
Yeah, and we're riding on an Arizona highway, so we're all coming from like small towns and shit, going to this one major event. So it's people going in the desert between towns is when they see us looking like this.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun. So we were born, but we weren't lucid for H.W. Bush. That guy, he's got a lot of controversy. What were some like social things that you saw happen? And we hear a lot of things started changing in the public zeitgeist around H.W. Bush.
Yeah, well, the first thing I noticed was that there were infringements. There was always the conservatives have always been attacking the First Amendment.
Yeah.
Ironically, only Republicans ever attacked the Second Amendment. I mean, there was Trump put a thing about against bump stocks, as we discussed earlier. Reagan. Yeah. How the hell? Oh, hold on a second.
No problem.
Hold on. I just looked behind my computer, and I see I have a boa that has gotten. No, don't go in there.
Just have a random snake just rolling around behind your computer. Like, oh, geez.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, that's funny. That's like having a random rabbit bouncing around the farm while we're like talking to somebody. Oh, geez.
Yeah, this is Nebulosa. She is an Argentine boa. Just a baby, just a couple years old.
How long do they live?
In captivity, they can live 25, 30 years. Well, 20 to 25 is what they say for boas.
Somebody in the chat just said, "Can it talk?" Yes. Yeah. So sorry. What were you? Very obvious and realistic distraction there. Yeah, the social stuff, cracking down on First Amendment and Second Amendment back in H.W. Bush.
Oh yeah, but it was also attacks on the Fifth Amendment. So it was what they.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember back that far. They were. It was like 1984 was really 2004. Kind of.
Right.
And we thought the shit was bad then. But what the Republicans, what the conservatives have done, past tense and current tense, on the First Amendment is through the floor, man.
It's quite concerning.
Every single provision of the First Amendment, every one of them, is under dire stress from MAGA Republicans. They want to make America great again by taking away everything that made it good.
The freedom of speech, the right to express, due process, the fact that America is and always has necessarily been a state of people leaving other countries to find a better life.
Exactly. So, yeah, fuck liberty and what it says on her pedestal. We don't go by that anymore. They should just ship liberty back to France. Deport her. Have ICE detain and remove her.
Well, she was built in France. She's not born in America or anything. So, denaturalization is what our current president's going for. He should just use that island as a prison now, right?
Yeah. So it's amazing to me. When I was a kid, everybody hated Nazis.
Oh my God! Right. Oh,
It seemed that everybody I knew in the world knew that racism was bad.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say that. My dad and my stepdad, those two said the N-word multiple times a day, every day.
Our neighbor unironically refers to people of color by the N-word casually in the middle of conversation, and he unironically has recommended multiple times that we write Nazi glory stories into our fiction. Because Nazis are cool, he says, and Nazis are popular, he says, and we're over here like, yeah, so that actually kind of brings up, the recent Superman nonsense. Is, Superman is fighting fascists and everything, and people are saying he went woke. Superman's been fighting fascists exactly the same way by punching them in the face since 1938. He hasn't changed at all. He's doing exactly what
Superman
he's doing.
advocates punching Nazis?
Yeah, it's funny. Superman didn't go woke. The people who now hate Superman went fascist. That's how that is. Superman hasn't changed.
That's easy to understand, because there were, in the last 2 years, and I think most of it was last year, I read a number of things or heard accounts from upset ministers that Christ is no longer popular.
He's woke Jesus. Yeah,
right, exactly. The congregations are complaining that Jesus is too woke, because he's advocating that you feed the poor, that you house the immigrant, and whatever you have done to the least of these, you have done to me. All that shit. So
the
Jesus
sin
is
of
a
empathy.
comic. Yeah.
The sin of empathy.
So this is people who pretend to be Christian, who now say that if Jesus came to America today, because there was an interview done like at a MAGA rally where they asked a handful of people this, that would Jesus be welcome if he came to America today? And the answer was, if he arrived here legally. If Jesus immigrated to the United States legally, then it would be okay.
But that isn't the case, though, because they don't want legal immigrants to be here either. They want to denaturalize people and stuff. So that doesn't make any sense to us. So interestingly enough, that brings us to what a lot of people consider the highlight in American politics, and that's the Clinton administration. Now, we were actually getting lucid for the Clinton administration, but obviously there was a lot more scandal about, his adulteries and things like that than there was about any of his policies. Generally speaking, a lot of people look back on Clinton and they see he was good. He removed the debt. We were out of debt for a little bit there, we think, right?
Yeah, I think it's funny that it almost cost him the election that he tried marijuana once
and did not inhale.
Exactly.
Oh man. And meanwhile, we're over here like, all right, wait, the Aaron Ross show is going on. Should we get our bong out of the thing? Yeah, we should get our bong out of the view, right? Yeah. Don't think it's going to lose us a single voter, by the way. But yeah, it was super weird back then. It would have totally.
I wish I could remember the politician's name who lost simply because he was doing Jessica Hahn. And the funny thing was that it actually increased his popularity, that he was cheating on his wife with Jessica Hahn.
Well, yeah, of course, man.
So you can get Jessica Hahn. You got my vote, but by then he'd already dropped out of the race.
Right.
So in trying to get back in the race, people like that I cheated on my wife with Jessica Hahn, but it was too late to save it. If he just owned it in the beginning, he probably would have won. I mean, he was running against George H.W. Bush.
Not exactly the strongest of candidates in modern memory.
Yeah, a guy who is quoted as saying that that atheists are not citizens. This is one nation under God.
And it's funny because we try to say that our nation is secular and everything like that, but find us an atheist politician that's well accepted and is on the way up the ladder or whatever.
Well, we can put this in another way.
Ourselves.
Find me a real Christian politician.
Gee,
find me one that knows what the fuck the Bible says. Oh, the Bible's very important to me. Are you an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy? I think they're, oh, I don't know, equal. Yeah, I
There's
don't want to
just
get
so
into quotes.
many. There's just so many amazing lines in the book. Let me hold this Bible upside down in front of this church that I gassed to clear out for my photo shoot.
And there's people out here protesting police brutality. So let's have the police fire tear gas into the crowd.
Yep.
So that I can go take this picture with this Bible upside down.
Oh, godly man I am.
With a Bible that I will never crack open because I don't care what it says. Trump has reportedly, according to all these people who know him, Trump has reportedly made fun of evangelicals, you know, the diehard Christians. He's obviously never studied theology. You know, he can't read at a fourth grade level, and he won't open the Bible. He has no idea what it says. He has read a substantial amount of Mein Kampf, we can assume, from also reports by people who were married to him.
Really? Okay, we had not heard about that one. That's
his previous wife said that he kept Mein Kampf on the bedstand.
Oh, no wonder. Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's the one that died and was then buried without her will, apparently. Trump just assumes property of her body and then buries it in his golf course.
Jeez, that doesn't sound like a serial killer type thing to do, does it?
Yep.
Oh, man.
The man has no compassion, no respect, no sense of humor, no empathy whatsoever, no understanding at all. Well, I know everything better than everybody. Nobody knows more about anything than me.
He is the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Yes.
Just walking around accosting people with his ignorance all the time. But yeah, well, and so we can see even back in like Clinton's time, this whole like
somebody points out that Donald Trump has no dog. That's actually an important point.
No, sorry, no dog. Yeah, no, sorry. We got 3 dogs, and when we go to the White House, they're coming with us, man. Like, all up in that.
You've only got 3?
Oh, well, you know, we just got the puppy, so she's still going through the training period. When she gets to be old enough, we'll get her a puppy. You know how.
I have a Siberian Husky foster that we need to get a home for.
Oh yeah.
And I have what we think is a golden retriever mastiff in Brindle.
Oh,
who is wonderful. But we've got 6 dogs.
So you gotta find good.
I can't manage 6 dogs.
Well, Moon Girl is 130 pounds, and Hudson is 90 pounds, and Sadie, as much as she's not a year old yet, she's a half Husky, half Pyrenees, so she's going to be like 100 pounds. Well, that's a lot of food we got to pay for.
So our Boxer, our Husky, our Brindle, my Pyrenees, and my wife's Akita Bulldog, all of them between 90 and 100 pounds.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, so that's a lot of food. So yeah, we gotta maybe we gotta wait a little till we get another dog.
Yeah, if anybody listening, if you would like a Siberian Husky or the best behaved dog I've ever had would be the one that I currently have in isolation that I need to get a home for, being treated for heartworm. Can't be excited, so I have to keep him in an isolated place for. Yeah. So what happens is a lot of people, when they realize that their dogs have heartworm, they just take the collar off and drop it off in a parking lot and drive away. So that's how we got 2 of our dogs.
That's so sad. We can't imagine our dog not being in our life anymore. Like, that dog loves us more than air. So like we couldn't imagine like just leaving her. How could you do that?
Our 6th dog, we had just found a home for a Rottweiler that we had been housing for a couple of months, and we managed to find her a good home, and I'm really happy about that. But that dog had not been gone for 4 days. My wife and I are sitting at one of those outdoor dining places, some little local Vietnamese place with a porch where you can bring your dogs in, because my wife takes her dog everywhere. And this random brindle, this 100-pound brindle dog, comes up to us exhausted, visibly exhausted and lost, distressed, confused, deeply saddened. And he comes up to meet our dog. And when I watched that dog walking away, no collar, I realized what was happening with that dog.
Poor thing.
I had to corner the dog, pick up a 90-pound stray dog. No, excuse me.
Not an easy feat.
It was more than 90 pounds. He was like 98.6. I had to pick him up and put him in a car because he didn't know how to be in a car. He didn't know how to be on a leash. No one had ever taken him for a walk. No one had ever taken him bye-bye. Ever.
So
Can you imagine that? A dog that you never give a ride in a car? That dog, we took him to the vet, no chip, no collar, no hope. We're not going to turn him over to the pound. We know what happens there.
No.
So he's in our house.
Yeah.
And I can't, and he's wonderful. He is not dog reactive. He's not people reactive. He doesn't care about cats. He doesn't care about snakes. He doesn't care. We can have this. I can take him out places and the snakes be with us. And he doesn't care. He's happy to be. And now it took 2 weeks before I could get him to go into a car willingly or come out of a car, because I used to have to drag him in and out.
Oh.
But he's gone on rides with us so many times, always to the park or to a beer garden or a brewery or someplace like that where he can, good things, not just visits to vets. I'm certain that he has had more of a life in the last month that he's been with us than he had in the previous few years.
Good.
With whoever his previous owner was.
We love Rottweilers. We actually wanted to have a Rottweiler, but Pyrenees just kind of fell into our life, and you know how that works.
Oh, I know intimately how that works. My mother shows up one day, and she opens the front door. She's standing in the open front door, and she goes, "Hey, you got this polar bear in your front yard?"
Yep.
And while she's standing there with the door open, he just walks into the house.
Yep.
Like he lives there and starts playing with the dogs that we have.
Once you have a Pyrenees, it's just there, man. You just got one.
So it was too late in the day to take him to the vet. It was after 5. I'm not letting this gigantic dog out into the world. He just comes in and starts playing with the dogs we already have. So I know he's good about that. So the next day, we take him to the vet, get him scanned. He's got a chip. I find his owner. We arrange a meeting. She picks him up from us.
Yeah.
Then we find out on nextdoor.com that she picked him up from us and took him to the pound and surrendered him.
That's fucked up.
Why not just tell me that you don't want the daughter back? I would have had the dog back. I would have saved $35.
Yeah.
So there I am at the pound, and they said that they wanted to quarantine the dog, that they had to stay there overnight. Why? Well, because of the risk of infection to your other dogs. I'm like, he spent last night in my house. I'm like, oh, well, never mind then.
Oh,
just let me have him. That was 7 or 8 years ago. And
oh, geez, he's an old boy now, isn't he? Then
he doesn't know it yet. He's right behind me on the floor because he's always right with me. The problem with having a Great Pyrenees is it doesn't matter where you try to move around in the house. There's always a big damn dog in the way.
They're right there. They're so loyal, so good at guarding their pack that they get in the way of it. Oh, man.
Exactly. I wish that he was as well behaved as the brindle dog that we have, the Mastiff, what we think is a Mastiff and golden retriever, because it's brindle. Otherwise, if you don't, golden retrievers can't be brindle unless there's Mastiff in it.
Right. So you have to have some kind of breed mix going on.
Yeah.
Same with rabbits. There's no rabbit breed that produces
the problem I have with this dog, he's good with snakes. My python has crawled right over him. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's good with cats. He's good. But if we take him out in public and he sees another dog,
very angry.
I can't take him to restaurants and stuff. I mean, he's somebody else shows up with a dog, he just loses his mind and he will bark until we get kicked out.
Yeah, yeah. Fortunately, we've never found that with any of our dogs, but we understand that we've known dogs that have been like that. They are one.
I wish I could impart to him telepathically or whatever, because I know people that believe in telepathy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
if that were possible, can I just convey the message that how stupid it is to try to attack an oncoming truck?
we think our greatest irritation with Moon Girl is that when we explain something to her, like, you can't do this because this costs a lot of money, like, don't tear up our headphones or whatever. We wish she understood, but alas.
Yeah, I can't deal with huskies normally, because I mean the huskies are just so destructive.
I had one hard way with Sadie.
I had one that I let sleep in the living room the first night that we had it, and the dog decided that it needed to remove all of the insulation between the carpet and the floor.
Sadie has decided to remove all of the inner soles from all the shoes. Just the inner soles. She doesn't chew on anything else. She just has to get the padding on the inside of the shoe out. All of the shoes. So she has gotten in trouble several times. Sorry, we are of course going crazy here on the
yeah. I think I don't know that we can go much further with this. This has been fun.
It's been really fun.
Yeah, and thank you for inviting me to do this. I hope somebody got something out of my 6 decades of watching America fuck up. It's not been pretty watching where it was from where it is. And somebody comes in wanting to fuck it all up right when we could have made something out of it, destroy it all, and pretend that makes it great again. Yeah, let's go back to when only straight, white, rich, landowning, Protestant, Christian men had rights.
Not our preference, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we mean, thanks for having us on, and it was super fun. We talked about dogs, so we doubt people just like that.
Yeah, we talked about SCA a little bit,
that's great. We want to talk to you about that.
That was a bucket of chuckles.
Yeah, we didn't know that you were involved in that. That's a big part of our childhood. So.
All right, well, I guess we'll close it up. Thank you very much, everyone. One of the reasons that I like doing these chats like live, I remember when I felt estranged from the world around me back in the 80s, back before we had social media, I didn't want to watch television because everything on television is pre-recorded.
Yeah.
You can't be a part of it. This is all that's happened in the past. Even if it was recorded earlier today, it's still in the past.
No interaction.
If you call, I mean, if you're listening to the radio, you can call 1-800-fuck you, and you can talk to the DJs. You know, it's happening. It's now. So you're still connected to it. And so that's why I like doing live conversations like this, because we have a chat room.
Yeah, totally. Same. Absolutely. And we run really tiny little YouTube channels and stuff like that. And so part of, getting bigger is, trying to be part of a community, reaching out to people. And you were one of the people who inspired us to do like science and debunk work and stuff like that. So when we reached out to you, we were like, is Aaron Ra ever gonna, nah. He's like, well, you might as well, we might as well just send out. And you know what, it's thank you. It's been really worth it. And we find that every time we do a collaboration, it's so much more fun, so much better than doing things by ourselves, gotta work together on these things, right?
Thank you so much for this invitation.
Well, thank you for having us.
Good night, everyone.